All right. Continuing with our chapter, basic ecology, we had done the biotic and abiotic components of the ecosystem. That was the division of ecosystem on the basis of uh, structure. Then there was a division on the basis of function, that was autotrophic and heterotrophic. Now we are going to do the functions of the ecosystem. What are the functions that are performed by ecosystem? You had come across terms like producers, consumers, and decomposers when you were studying about the biotic components of the ecosystem. Similar words you're going to learn here when we discuss the functions of ecosystem. That is, first of all, is production. The first function, the primary function of ecosystem is production. What? To produce food. The conversion of solar energy into chemical energy or potential energy by the process of photosynthesis in green plants. So the production of food by the green plants. And what is the production of food? It is the conversion of the energy of the sun. That energy is trapped by the plants, and then this energy of the sun, the solar energy, is converted into chemical energy or potential energy, which is stored in the form of food in the plants. And this process of conversion of the solar energy, the trapping of the solar energy and its conversion to chemical energy, is known as photosynthesis. So the whole process of photosynthesis, it is performed, and this is the primary or the first function of the ecosystem, that is production. Then the second function is consumption. That is the transfer of chemical energy that is stored in the form of food in the plants, transfer of this chemical energy to the other organisms. The chemical energy that has been stored by the plants in the form of food, that is fruits or leaves or flowers, etc. This energy is transferred to other organism by means of consumption. What is consumption? The process of eating. We eat plants, like, so we are consuming the plants and we are transferring the chemical energy of the plants into ourselves. We require energy to stay alive and work. So to get that energy, we are transferring the chemical energy of the plants into ourselves. And how we are doing that? By eating those plants or by consuming those plants. So the second function of the ecosystem would be consumption. The first was production, then there is consumption. Now after we have consumed this chemical energy, we have utilized some of the energy, the rest is removed as waste from our bodies, or when we die, we also become a waste material for the ecosystem. Now this waste material, whether it is our excreta or whether it is our dead body, it is decomposed. So here comes the third function of the ecosystem, that is decomposition. It is the breaking down of organic matter to recycle the material to release the nutrients and energy in form of heat. The release of energy in the form of heat, the breaking down of this chemical energy that is present in the waste material, the breaking down of this energy and its release into the environment is termed as decomposition, and it is counted as the third function of the ecosystem. That is, the organic matter is broken down and then it is converted into recyclable material, and then the nutrients and energy is released in the ecosystem. So the three functions, you can put a tick mark over there because short questions can be made out of it. That first of all, the first question can be, what are the core functions of the ecosystem? So you can mention the three functions, that is production, consumption and decomposition. And then you may be asked to define any of the three functions, or maybe if it is a long question, you can be asked that name and explain the core functions of the ecosystem. So in that case, you will name the three and then give the definition for each of them. All right, that is, you would explain production, consumption and decomposition along with their naming. Fine. So these are the core functions, the basic functions, the main functions of the ecosystem. Then what are the other functional aspects of ecosystem? It is the energy flow and cycle of nutrients. That is the why the ecosystem is performing the functions that have been mentioned above. Why is it producing? Why is it consuming? Why is it decomposing? It is doing all this because it wants energy to continue flowing from one part of the ecosystem to the other part. It wants energy to continue flowing from one part to the other part of the ecosystem, or from one component to the other component. Now, the other purpose is to maintain the cycle of nutrients. That is, the ecosystem wants nutrients to form a cycle. You have studied water cycle now, how water is circulated throughout the environment, and each form has its own unique purpose. When water cycle takes place, the forms that it takes has a unique function, and each part is very necessary. All right. So similarly, the ecosystem wants that the cycle of the nutrients, that is, nutrients getting converted into different compounds, approaching different components of the ecosystem, should continue. So how this energy flow takes place, or how the cycle of nutrients takes place, that we are going to study. Energy flow: the producers obtain energy from the sun and turn it into chemical or potential energy during photosynthesis. So how energy flow starts? It starts from the sun. Sun releases heat and light. This energy is trapped by the plants and it is converted into chemical energy. The food that we eat is a form of chemical energy, all right, or potential energy. That is, energy is stored in those grains. So this energy of the sun is turned into chemical or potential energy during the photosynthesis. All right. So now the energy that has been stored in the plants by the process of photosynthesis, this energy is passed on to the consumers and then to the decomposers. When the consumer consumes the producers, the energy is transferred to them, and then later on, when they are broken down by the decomposers, the same energy is passed into the decomposers that help them to survive. The flow of energy is unidirectional. Now underline this line. This is very important. Why? Because unidirectional would mean that it can go only in one direction. All right. If it is moving from producers, like here, the energy flow is from producers to consumers and then to decomposers. So this energy cannot retrace its path back. That is, the same energy that was transferred from the plant to the consumer cannot go back from the consumer to the plant. Neither can the same energy that is transferred from consumer to the decomposer, it cannot trace back its path from the decomposer to the consumer. So when you are asked about the flow of energy, you would say that it is unidirectional. That is, it will always flow from the producer to the consumer to the decomposer, and it is not going to retrace its path back. It is going to move in the same direction only, and therefore it is unidirectional. All right. So the flow of energy is unidirectional as it cannot retrace its path back. Retrace means go back along the same path. The solar energy, once trapped by the chlorophyll, cannot retrace its path back to the sun. That is, the energy that has been trapped by the plants, the solar energy that has been trapped by the plants, it cannot be released by the plants again and sent back to the sun. It cannot be, means this process cannot take place in the ecosystem. That is, the energy, the solar energy that has been trapped by the plants and converted into chemical energy, the same energy cannot be sent back by the plants. There is no such process that could convert the chemical energy stored in the plants to be sent back to the sun. So because the sun's energy once trapped by the plant cannot go back, therefore the direction of the energy flow is going to remain the same, and it is not going to retrace back. Similarly, this energy passed on to the consumers and the decomposers cannot retrace their path back, just as I explained that the energy that has been transferred from the producer to the consumer to the decomposers cannot come, retrace back. So the flow of energy would be represented by solar energy transferred to autotrophs, transferred to heterotrophs. The arrows would be in the arrowhead would be single. You cannot put the arrowhead in this direction because the direction of energy flow would not be reverse. So this was the case of energy flow. All right, this is the functional aspect of ecosystem, one of the functional aspect. The other aspect is the cycle of nutrients. That is, the ecosystem wants a cycle of nutrients to continue. Underline this, the cyclic flow of nutrients between non-living environment, that is soil, air and water, and living organisms is known as biogeochemical cycle. That is, the flow of nutrients between the living and the non-living components, it is known as biogeochemical cycle. The movement of elements and inorganic compounds essential for life are called nutrient cycle. That is, the movement, the transfer of elements and inorganic compounds. Inorganic compounds you had studied yesterday. What were they? You know about them now. That is, they are essential, the nutrients that are essential for life, they are transferred from, the movement, the way they are being transferred from one component to the other component is termed as nutrient cycle. If you remember what are inorganic substances, they were the salts that were essential for life, the salts of nitrogen, salts of phosphorus, etc. All right, and the other elements, whatever they are required, they are transferred from one component to the other, and this transfer is itself known as nutrient cycle. The major nutrients, the most major of the cycles that take place in the environment are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. Means most of the transfer is done of these four nutrients. Carbon, carbon dioxide and the carbohydrates and sugars and fats, they all are compounds of carbon. We have carbon dioxide, plants absorbing them. We have animals releasing carbon dioxide. We have carbohydrates, fats. They are all stored in the form of compounds of carbon. Then we have hydrogen, we have oxygen. All right. We have water, that is a compound of these two. Then we breathe in oxygen, plants breathe out oxygen, and then nitrogen. Nitrogen, most of the compounds that are absorbed by the plants for their growth are compounds of nitrogen itself. That is, the fertilizers that are formed, urea and all that, they are all compounds of nitrogen. So these nutrient cycle again and again between the living and the non-living components of the ecosystem. Obviously, when the plants are absorbing in carbon and nitrogen compounds of the two, then obviously this is getting stored in the plant and then it is getting transferred into us and then again back into the environment. So the cycle continues. These nutrients, they continue moving from plants to the producers, to the consumers, to the decomposers, back into the ecosystem, and then again the cycle continues from producers, from the soil into the producers, into the consumers, and then decomposers, and again back into the soil or the water. So there's a continuous cycle that is going on. The roots of the plants absorb nutrients from the soil and the leaves produce food during photosynthesis. So the nutrients that are absorbed from the soil, they get converted into food. The animals consume this directly or indirectly. So whether they are primary consumer or tertiary or secondary, depending on that, they consume this compound, these compounds, this food from the plants directly or indirectly. When the animals and plants die, the decomposers decompose them and release these nutrients back into the environment. So when they are decomposing it, the same compounds get transferred to the decomposers, and then from them it is sent back to the non-living components of the ecosystem. That is, they are released into the soil, or they are released into the air or water accordingly, depending on in what form it is, whether solid or liquid or gas. Then the various types of nutrient cycles are carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle, oxygen cycle, and phosphorus cycle. So the ways in which the compounds are formed and how they are getting transferred, and from which direction they are moving, and in form of what compounds they are getting transferred, there are major 4 cycles that are carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and phosphorus cycle. One of the cycle has been discussed in this chapter, that is carbon cycle. All right, to illustrate, to give you an example, one of the most important that is considered in the case of ecosystem is carbon cycle, and it has been discussed over here. You can underline it. Carbon cycle is a biogeochemical cycle in which carbon as carbon element is circulated in the biosphere between its living and non-living elements. So here the element carbon is talked about, how it is getting transferred from living and non-living parts of the ecosystem, and in form of what compounds. That is being talked about in this cycle. That is, our major focus is the element carbon. Carbon is an essential life element. Essential life element means an element that is essential for the survival of life. All right. So here there's a diagram made over here in your book, carbon cycle. So please focus on this as I explain. That is carbon dioxide. First of all, you see on top, this carbon dioxide is absorbed by the plants in the and photosynthesis occurs, and also the plants, they release back the same carbon dioxide when they respire. You can see over here. First, they absorb it in the form of photosynthesis. You can look in your books because it's coming literally inverted. All right, in the image. So please focus in your books. You can see here, over here, they are during photosynthesis, plants are absorbing carbon dioxide, while in respiration, they are releasing carbon dioxide. And when they are performing photosynthesis, the same carbon is getting converted into sugar or sucrose. That is a form of food. All right, form of food. And then the same food, the same starch and sugar, it is consumed by the animals. It is consumed by the animals and then decomposed by the decomposers, and which help form the fossil fuels. These fossil fuels, they are burnt in the industries, and then when these are burnt, carbon dioxide is released. Also, animals, when they respire, they also release the carbon dioxide. So when you talk about sugar, the compounds are different. When we talk about fossil fuels, they are in form of different compounds. So the compound, the composition changes, it keeps changing, but the major element remains the same, that is carbon. All right, so carbon is getting cycled in the various forms, in various shapes. When it is in the form of fossil fuel, you can see it is in different shape. It is petroleum, it is carbon, it is diamond. All of these are compounds of carbon itself. And when it is stored in the form of food, it is in form of different compounds, like sugar we have starch, we have fats, all right, etc. Now turn to next page. Let's see how the carbon cycle works. Atmospheric carbon enters the plant in the form of carbon dioxide and is converted into carbohydrates by the process of photosynthesis. Carbohydrates are carbon compounds which are passed to other organisms in the food chain. As explained just now, they are carbon compounds which are passed to the organism in the food chain. That is when producers, consume the, consumers consume the producers. This compounds of carbon are transferred from one component to the other. The carbon passes from the plants to animals through herbivores and form essential component of both plant and animal tissues. These compounds of carbon, they get converted and saved as, that is when we eat food, we have a healthy growth. So what is growth? The tissues, they repair themselves, new tissues are formed. So how these new tissues are being formed? The same compounds of carbon that we consume in the form of food, it is getting stored in our tissues. It is helping us form our tissues. So the same carbon compounds, they form essential components of both plant and animal tissues. When the plants and animals die, they are decomposed by the bacteria and fungi. This process of decomposition breaks down the organic matter, releasing carbon dioxide into the soil. So the decomposers, they break down these organic compounds into carbon dioxide and into the soil. All right. Then the process of decomposition is breaking down the organic matter and releasing the carbon dioxide into the soil. Then the dead plants and animals form the fossil fuel. So some of the carbon is released into the atmosphere as carbon dioxide. The other parts are transformed into fossil fuels. That is, they get converted into different compounds and form the fossil fuels when compressed under high temperature for hundreds of years. They are compressed under the earth, and then due to high temperatures and all, certain changes occur and they form various compounds and form the fossil fuels. Carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere when plants and animals respire. So also when we all the animals and plants, when they respire, that is the process of respiration takes place, then all of these compounds, they get converted and carbon dioxide is released. Carbon dioxide is also a compound of carbon. Burning of fuel as wood or fossil fuel like coal, petroleum, natural gas release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, because all of these are compounds of carbon only. So when they get oxygen and when they burn, they form carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere. So you can see how in the beginning the carbon dioxide was absorbed from the air or from the atmosphere and utilized, and then by the end it is again released into the environment, into the air. So a complete cycle takes place where carbon reaches almost all the components of the ecosystem, and then after reaching signifying its presence everywhere, it is returned back into the air. This is a cyclic process because carbon enters through the plants during photosynthesis and carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere through various processes, is reabsorbed by the plants, completing the cycle. That is the cyclic process. In the complete cycle, if you see, carbon is entering from the, being absorbed from the air, entering into the plants, then released into the atmosphere at certain stages, or getting converted into various compounds, and then finally being released into the atmosphere again as carbon dioxide, where it is getting again reabsorbed by the plant. So the cycle, it continues. It gets absorbed, it gets transformed.
Don't worry, beta. Network issue. Don't.
So it is getting absorbed.
थोड़ी देर में सही हो जाएगा.
It is getting absorbed, then it is getting transformed, and it is getting released. Then again getting reabsorbed, retransformed, and re-released. So the cycle, it continues. That is all about, the functional aspects, that is energy flow and the cycle of nutrients with your carbon cycle being explained.